In the heart of Minneapolis, the Carmel Mall stands as a vibrant hub for Minnesota's Somali community. This bustling marketplace is more than just a shopping destination. It's a cultural anchor, a place where families gather, friends meet, and traditions are kept alive. The air is filled with the aroma of spices, the sound of laughter, and the hum of conversation in multiple languages, reflecting the rich diversity of the neighborhood. It's a place of commerce, culture, and connection, where generations of Somali Minnesotans have built businesses and found a sense of belonging. Here, the market stalls overflow with colorful fabrics, traditional foods, and handmade goods, each telling a story of heritage and resilience. Just before the holidays, Lieutenant Governor and U.S. Senate candidate Peggy Flanagan made a highly publicized visit to the market. Her arrival was met with curiosity and excitement, as shoppers paused to greet her and vendors extended warm welcomes. The visit was not just a campaign stop, it was a moment of visibility for a community often overlooked in statewide politics. Flanagan, a Democrat, moved through the marketplace with ease, engaging with shopkeepers and community members. Her visit was closely followed by cameras from Somali TV Minnesota, eager to capture the rare attention being paid to their community by a statewide leader. She listened to concerns, asked questions, and shared stories, making an effort to connect on a personal level. What drew particular attention was her choice to wear a hijab, a Catholic politician's gesture of cultural deference and respect. For many, it was a powerful symbol of solidarity, an acknowledgement of the community's values and traditions. For others, it sparked debate about authenticity and the boundaries of cultural expression in politics. During her visit, Flanagan declared, "The Somali community is part of the fabric of Minnesota." Her words resonated with many in the crowd, who have long sought recognition and inclusion in the state's political landscape. She spoke about the importance of unity, understanding, and the need to stand together in challenging times. The visit, however, came at a complicated moment. The Feeding Our Future fraud scandal was dominating headlines, casting a shadow over the Somali community and raising questions about oversight and trust. What might have been a routine campaign stop was suddenly transformed into a flashpoint, with every gesture and word scrutinized by both supporters and critics. Critics quickly questioned her motives, suggesting the visit was less about genuine outreach and more about political damage control. Some accused Flanagan of using the community as a backdrop for her campaign, while others saw her actions as a necessary step toward healing and dialogue. Republican Congressman Tom Emmer was among the most vocal detractors. He dismissed the visit as a calculated stunt, calling it a cynical attempt to curry favor with voters in the wake of scandal. His comments fueled an already heated debate, highlighting the deep divisions in Minnesota's political climate. Flanagan's gesture, intended as a message of unity and respect, instead became a battleground in Minnesota's increasingly polarized politics. Supporters praised her willingness to engage directly with the community, while opponents saw only opportunism and spectacle. The intersection of culture, religion, and crisis made her visit a symbol for both sides, a moment that revealed both the promise and the challenges of building bridges in a diverse and divided state. In the end, Flanagan's Market Walk was more than a campaign event. It was a reflection of the complex realities facing Minnesota today. Lieutenant Governor Flanagan's visit to a bustling local market in Minnesota is more than just a routine stop. It's a window into the lives of families who depend on community support, especially during times of crisis. Her presence here highlights the importance of government aid reaching those who need it most, and the trust communities place in their leaders to safeguard that support. But behind these hopeful scenes lies a larger, troubling story, one marked by allegations of greed, systemic oversight failures, and the vulnerability of public programs in times of emergency. When the pandemic struck, the federal government responded with an unprecedented wave of financial aid, aiming to keep families afloat, prevent hunger, and ensure that children, suddenly out of school, would not go without meals. In Minnesota, these relief funds became a lifeline for thousands. Food banks, schools, and nonprofits mobilized quickly, working around the clock to distribute aid. But the urgency and sheer scale of the operation also opened the door to exploitation by those seeking to take advantage. Federal prosecutors alleged that a massive fraud scheme targeted child nutrition programs, which had been expanded to serve more children outside of traditional school settings. The very programs designed to protect the most vulnerable became targets for deception. The Minnesota Department of Education was tasked with overseeing the distribution of these funds, relying heavily on nonprofit sponsors to partner with local sites and ensure meals reach children in need. But as applications and claims poured in at an overwhelming pace, oversight mechanisms struggled to keep up, staff were stretched thin, and the sheer volume of paperwork made it difficult to spot irregularities. Warning signs and red flags, emails, alerts, and reports were missed, overlooked, or simply ignored amid the chaos, allowing fraudulent activity to slip through the cracks. According to investigators, bad actors set up shell companies, fabricated paperwork, and dramatically inflated meal counts to siphon off millions in federal funds. They billed the government for food that was never prepared, never delivered, and never served to the children who needed it most. The relief program, intended as a vital safety net during a historic crisis, was systematically plundered, leaving real families at risk and undermining the very purpose of the aid. The scale of the alleged fraud is staggering, casting a long shadow over Minnesota's pandemic response and raising urgent questions about accountability and trust in public institutions. In 2022, federal prosecutors launched a sweeping investigation, uncovering a complex web of theft, deception, and abuse of public trust that spanned dozens of organizations and individuals. The scandal has become a defining issue for Minnesota, shaking public confidence in government oversight and sparking a broader debate about how to protect vital relief programs from abuse, now and in the future. At the center of the scandal is Feeding Our Future, a nonprofit founded to combat hunger. When pandemic aid surged, its role expanded, sponsoring hundreds of food sites. Prosecutors allege that under founder Amy Bach, it became the linchpin of a massive criminal enterprise. Sites submitted fraudulent invoices claiming to serve thousands of meals daily, most never delivered. Feeding Our Future took a cut, passing the rest to operators of fake sites. The accused include entrepreneurs and community leaders, many from Minnesota's Somali American community. Stolen funds were laundered and spent on luxury goods, homes, and vacations. The Department of Justice calls it one of the largest pandemic relief frauds in the country. Flanagan's hijab-clad visit quickly became a lightning rod for political criticism, drawing intense scrutiny from both the media and her opponents. The image of a prominent politician donning religious attire at a mosque resonated far beyond the event itself, sparking heated conversations about identity, representation, and the boundaries of political symbolism in Minnesota's charged climate. Republicans wasted no time framing the visit as a calculated move, suggesting it was a strategisk gaudetemtem talbentabur, which accorded Wimploy destengstem pekande den, and aldebreden stuur ton den stichen con, to tension from the ongoing Feeding Our Future scandal. They argued that Flanagan's appearance was less about genuine outreach and more about damage control, using the controversy as a backdrop to bolster her image among key voting blocs. Tom Emmer, a leading Republican voice, went so far as to call the visit a political stunt, claiming it was designed to shore up support in a community at the center of recent controversy. He questioned the timing and sincerity of Flanagan's actions, fueling further debate among voters and pundits alike. Critics seized on the moment, linking Flanagan's progressive stances to accusations that she was out of touch with mainstream Minnesotans. They argued that her focus on identity politics and symbolic gestures risked alienating voters who felt overlooked by the political establishment. Yet, her supporters pushed back, insisting that Flanagan's actions reflected a deep commitment to inclusivity and genuine engagement, not political opportunism. They pointed to her long-standing relationships with Minnesota's diverse communities as evidence of her authenticity and dedication to representing all constituents. Many in the Somali community and beyond argued that it was unfair and even dangerous to stigmatize an entire group for the crimes of a few individuals. They emphasized the importance of solidarity and understanding, especially in times of heightened tension and public scrutiny. For some, Flanagan's visit was a bold act of leadership, a sign that she was willing to stand with marginalized communities even when it was politically risky. For others, it was seen as a cynical ploy, a calculated move in the high-stakes world of Minnesota politics. The ongoing debate over her visit has only highlighted Minnesota's deep and persistent partisan divide, with each side interpreting the event through their own political lens. The controversy has become a flashpoint, symbolizing broader tensions over identity, representation, and the future direction of the state. As the Senate race heats up and the stakes grow ever higher, Flanagan's mosque visit remains a central point of contention, one that continues to shape the narrative, energize supporters, and deepen divisions across Minnesota's political landscape. As the scandal grew, Governor Tim Walz's administration faced accusations of negligence. Critics said the Department of Education ignored early warnings and whistleblowers. Walz admitted failures, acknowledging that criminals exploited pandemic relief programs. In response, he created an anti-fraud task force to improve oversight and restore trust. The task force will review procedures, recommend changes, and strengthen whistleblower protections. Many see these actions as too late, with the scale of fraud fueling public anger. Walz's political future now hinges on convincing Minnesotans he can fix the broken system. The scandal has deeply affected Minnesota's Somali community, the largest in North America. While only a fraction were involved, the community faces collective suspicion and prejudice. Many feel anger and shame at the betrayal, but also fear backlash and discrimination. Flanagan's visit was seen by some as a gesture of solidarity, by others as superficial. It signaled government support, but also sparked debate about cultural appropriation. The visit reflected the complex emotions within a community caught in the crossfire. Leaders worry about lasting damage to their reputation. The fallout has left the community anxious and divided. The scale of the fraud drew attention from Washington, D.C. In December 2025, the House Oversight Committee launched a probe, seeking accountability from both fraudsters and state officials. Chairman James Comer focused on the Walz administration's handling of relief funds. The investigation elevates the crisis to a national political battle. Lawmakers want to know how the fraud happened and why oversight failed. For Walz and Flanagan, the congressional spotlight is a serious political threat. The story is now a fixture in national headlines. The scandal gained national attention when Donald Trump weighed in. On Truth Social, he linked the fraud to immigration, vowing to end deportation protections for Somali nationals if re-elected. His statement shifted the debate from fraud to immigration and collective punishment. Immigrant rights groups and Democrats condemned the move as discriminatory and unconstitutional. Trump's supporters saw it as tough action. Opponents called it collective punishment. The decree reinforced stereotypes and inflamed partisan divides. Community leaders warned it could incite hostility against Somali Minnesotans. The local scandal became a weapon in national culture wars. The Feeding Our Future scandal, Flanagan's visit, and Trump's pronouncements have brought Minnesota to a crossroads. The theft of hundreds of millions meant for hungry children is a profound betrayal. Minnesotans demand accountability and a transparent reckoning. The crisis exposes vulnerabilities in government oversight and the dangers of collective blame. The challenge: prosecute the guilty, fix broken systems, and avoid scapegoating entire communities. Ongoing investigations must be thorough and lead to real consequences. Rebuilding trust requires more than new task forces. It demands cultural change and vigilance. The scandal is a harsh reminder that good intentions aren't enough. Without integrity and oversight, public programs can be corrupted. Minnesota's response will offer lessons for governments everywhere.